This video is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing should be taken as factual. This is all my astrological opinion. Please enjoy.
You said what?
I'm gonna need Hot Beezer to be a part of what I'm doing.
You said what?
Hot.
You're hot?
Hot Beezer.
Most of the time, he'll say something and I'll say, what does that mean? What does that mean, babe? Oh, no, T, that means the whoop, whoop to the whoop, whoop. I'm like, well, first of all, let's start with whoop. What does whoop mean? He said, well, whoop is a compound word that can be used any way. It could be a verb, it could be a noun, it could be a prepositional phrase, whatever you want. I'm like, okay, that can mean anything. But I found out you can't say hi. You can't use whoop to say hi. I was like, whoop. He was like, no, babe, just say hi.
Hey everybody, this is Sonia with Melanin Goddess Life. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another celebrity reading. All right, so we're going to get right into it. Today we're going to be doing a celebrity reading on Toni Braxton and Birdman. So if you hadn't already heard, news broke a few days ago that the two of them allegedly, had gotten married last year on August the 8th, 2024. News also broke that allegedly, maybe 2 days later, Toni decided that this was a bad idea. I'm just kind of like paraphrasing. And she filed for divorce 2 weeks later. Now, up until this point, we really don't know how true the story is. Is there any validity to the story? We don't know if she did file for divorce, but hypothetically, we're going to say that the story is true because someone dug up a marriage license. So apparently they got married quickly. She filed for divorce. Now, at this point, I don't know if they are divorced. So we kind of just left it at that. But I, of course, wanted to dip into the astrology of these two because I've always been very interested in their dynamic. Their relationship started years and years ago, and it actually started off as a friendship. And we're going to talk about that because that does come up in the reading in their chart, particularly in his. But people just really could never figure out, were they together? Are they not together? At some point, they did come out and publicly disclose that they are in a relationship. But this relationship was kind of off and on, kind of volatile. We didn't know which way it was going. But now that I took a look at both their charts, I see why their relationship has taken on a lot of twists and turns. And to be honest with you, these two have more in common than people would believe. So without further ado, let's talk quickly about the astrology, the love astrology of Birdman and Toni Braxton. Now, we're not going to go too far into it. I just want to really take a look at the time frame in which they got married to see what happened during that time frame and why the marriage quickly fell apart, allegedly. So Birdman was born February 15th, 1989. That's going to make him an Aquarius sun, an Aquarius moon, and he's a Gemini rising. Now, keep that in mind. Toni was born October the 7th, 1967. Now, that's going to make her a Libra sun, Sagittarius moon, and she's a Sagittarius rising. So if we are looking at it from the perspective of just love, these people have a lot in common by way of how they do relationships. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Toni is a Sagittarius rising and Birdman is a Gemini rising, those are sister signs. So they're opposite signs. So when we have opposite signs and people in a relationship with opposite ascendants, they seem to have everything in common, but in a different type of way. With him being a Gemini rising, which means his seventh house is going to be on Sagittarius, is going to be ruled by Sagittarius. So Sagittarius has been dubbed the bachelor and the bachelorette of the zodiac. So these are people that can be in long-term relationships, but they're also people that don't necessarily have to be legally married or in the traditional sense of marriage. One thing that you will find with people with Sagittarius on their seventh house, they value their freedom in relationships. So again, they will be in relationships, but the minute that they start to feel like the relationship is becoming stifled or stifling their freedom, they start to act out. They don't like to be trapped. And then coupled with the fact that he is an Aquarius sun, he really he really values his freedom. Now, with Toni being a Sagittarius ascendant, that means Gemini rules her seventh house. With Gemini ruling her seventh house, she's going to be very similar to that Sagittarian energy that Birdman has on his seventh house, but she's going to need to be mentally stimulated all the time. So she can grow very bored in relationships. When you also have a Gemini seventh house, this could look like multiple marriages. So this would be her second marriage. This could also look like someone that always has like a spare person waiting around. Like they can flitter from relationship to relationship. So they like to be stimulated mentally. They get bored really easy in relationships, and they can be a bit impulsive as well when it comes to relationships. So we're going to look at the day that they got married. So allegedly they got married on August the 8th, 2024. And when I put this in and calculated what the planetary aspects that were going on for that day, I'm not surprised that this didn't last, because this couple on August the 8th, 2024 got married in the middle of retrograde season. So they had a lot of planets that were in retrograde. And if we know anything about retrograde, this is when the planets are slowing down. They're not working as well as they should. So on that day, they had Neptune was in retrograde, Saturn was in retrograde, Pluto was in retrograde, and most importantly, Mercury was in retrograde. And because Mercury is the most popular retrograde that people know of, this is the planet that controls communication, contract negotiation, and the coming together of agreements. So we always say during a Mercury retrograde, it's not good to go into any type of agreement. It's not good to have any type of contract negotiation. It's not good to sign anything. And specifically, I always say that during a Mercury retrograde, it's not good to get into a relationship or start something new with regards to a relationship. Because what will happen is the communication can be off. And what normally happens when you try to do anything in a serious way or try to negotiate or sign a contract or come into an agreement, which marriage is an agreement, during a Mercury retrograde, more than likely there could be problems with that agreement. After we get out of the Mercury retrograde, there could be things that you really did not take into account, or you really didn't know, or maybe you didn't understand during the time that you made that agreement. So it's not good to make those kinds of long-term agreements during a Mercury retrograde. They also had Saturn in retrograde, Neptune was in retrograde, so Pluto was in retrograde. So we were in Emis retrograde energy, which means they did not have a lot of support starting off with this marriage, with all these planets going in retrograde. So I'm not surprised that this did not turn out to be something that's long lasting. Now, earlier I said that they have a lot more in common than people would believe. And it's particularly on how they do relationships. Again, they're opposite ascendants. So they could be very, very much attracted to each other. They do have a lot of things in common by way of how they do relationships. They do connect well when it's good. So this coupling of these two people actually really works out well. Now, one of the things that I wanted to pay attention to is the kind of partners that they like. Now, from all understanding, this was Birdman's first marriage. So when we are looking at the kind of woman that a man would be attracted to, we look for Venus. And so his Venus is actually in the sign of Aries. So he's going to like women that are passionate, that are fun. He's probably going to like women that have a lot of initiative and a lot of drive to them. Now, his Venus sits in his 11th house. And a lot of times you can tell a lot about how you might meet your spouse by the position it is in your natal chart. So with his Venus representing the kind of woman that he would be attracted to, sits in his 11th house. The 11th house governs friends, organizations, groups, things of that nature. And it's not missed on me that when I saw this placement, he really needs someone that he has a friendship component to the relationship. Now, I know we all say that we want to be friends with our partner, and that could happen. But with Birdman, it is very important to him that there's a friendship component. Now, another way that this could play out is this is someone that could be friends with the person first. There's no romantic connection. There's nothing going on between the two people. They are truly friends. And then it can develop into a relationship. All right. And this could also look like him meeting someone through his friends. And when I researched how the two of them met, they originally connected, I think, back in 2011, 2010. I think he was in a video of hers, or he worked on some music with her. And she even said that when they met, it was strictly platonic. And it stayed platonic for about 15 or 16 years where they were just truly, truly friends. And then around 2016, it developed into something else. It developed into a romantic relationship. So this really plays out with him.
Everyone says that. You know, me and him have been friends for 16 years.
I know you had a song like 15 years ago,
Yeah,
too,
we've
right?
been like besties for a long time.
People always say that. But
No, this is real. Like, no cross the line.
besties, like you always kept in touch and you always talked?
We would keep in touch. He would come see me when I had my plays. When I had my baby shower, he would come. Like, we were really friends.
Oh, like, oh.
What a foreign. This could be someone that you would probably not likely believe that she would be in a relationship with. And that definitely defines the reaction that she got when we found out that she was dating Birdman. They could seem like they could be just the opposite. But again, they have a lot more in common than people really know. But he seems a bit foreign, outside of the box of what she would what people would think that she would normally be attracted to. And it's not missed on me that this is her second marriage. So when we look at the second spouse for someone, we're actually looking at the ninth house. And he falls in her ninth house, which is very interesting to me. Now, with all that being said, I do believe that this couple got married last year. Okay. I do believe that she filed for divorce because of the time frame that they got married was not the best. Do I think that they are divorced? I'm not really sure because we don't know that. However, this could be a couple that can turn around and be back together because they have the same style when it comes to relationships. A little bit erratic, a little bit all over the place, but it's never going to be traditional or conventional for these two. And it actually is a good thing for them. They all both need to be mentally stimulated in a relationship. They both like their freedom. They both don't want to feel like they're tied down. And they both need to have that friendship component. And it may have kind of got muddied when they lost the connection with regards to their friendship. So that's just my synopsis on whether or not this actually happened, what I feel like happened during this cycle. I don't know these people. I do love both of them as artists. I hope it works out for them, whatever that is for them, whatever's best for them with regards to their relationship. And we'll just have to see what comes up for Birdman and Toni. That is my quick overview of this relationship. Hope you enjoyed it and you have a great